Right, hello there everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another live stream where we are loud and in charge of the nightly YouTube community to where we get together, we talk about football and we take over the whole platform. We are going to celebrate by having a little beverage. I did mean to say beverage, but we got a beverage and here we are because we're brethrens. And on tonight's menu, we have got a nice little bit of apple juice, bruv. You feel what I'm saying, chat? In a nice little whiskey glass. You get me, blood? These are the vibes. Oh, fucking beautiful, man. Absolutely fucking beautiful. Gorgeous. Pink apple juice, blood. We've got an agenda. As you can see by the ticker below me, we have got an agenda on the show tonight. Shout out to Esther, who's always on the show. Shout out to Eric Sevenhag. Eric Sevenhag, I have got a question, sir. Did you used to have a different YouTube channel name? And if so, what was it? Because I do recognise this name. I'm just wondering, have you been here for a while and you used to have a different name? I'm just curious. Shout out to my man Festus. Footy Boy is in the chat as well. We've got 30 involved 3. Esther again, what does she say? She says, lol, that so it's perfect. It's great. Really is. It's probably like my claim to fame. You've got the Manny interview and then you have the London accent. And yeah, that's pretty much what I thrive off. Without that, I'm absolutely zero. Thuram Kone next, bro. But which centre-back do you want? Let's get into the Kone Thuram news, and I do want your input across the stream as well, chat. I'm not going to lie to you. Nice ticket, and I know, yeah, it's alright, isn't it? Look at me maximising StreamYard. If you don't mind, chat, on your way in, if you can smash a like just because it gets the stream more out there. If you can also subscribe, that'd be grand. Did you know that in the past 90 days, this YouTube channel has generated 339 subscribers? Did you know that in the last 7 days, this YouTube channel has generated 289 subscribers? That is the work rate, chat. So thank you so much for the increase in viewership, the increase in subscribers, and therefore the increase in revenue, making sure that I can do this more often. Speaking of revenue, Liverpool are looking to let go of a lot of their revenue on 2 new midfielders, one being Kone and Thuram, another being Manu Kone. Now, we've been linked with both midfielders for the best part of, I would suggest, a week or two now, and it's only got stronger and stronger every single day when it comes to the links. And heavy news broke last night from multiple sources throughout the day. Well, actually, it broke yesterday, but then got stronger as the night continued about Thuram and Kone potentially going to Blackpool. Now, why else would they go to Blackpool? It's not to go and play with Reece Williams in the Championship or League One, whatever they're in. It's actually to possibly be talking to Liverpool. Now, someone asked me the question earlier, well, James, how can you agree personal terms if they haven't spoke to the club? I'm sure Nice are aware that we're speaking to the players, and I'm sure that the Munch and Gladbach are aware that we're speaking to Kone. I don't think it's a big deal. I do believe it's okay that we speak to the players, that's for damn sure. And it looks like that we are, and it looks like that we're in the negotiation process of setting a fee for both players. And I said when we were first linked with both of them, I was thinking, I think it's kind of unrealistic to expect us to sign 2 top-class prospects. Just very unrealistic based on a track record, and that's why I would be buzzing if this got completed. I believe it can get completed. But I do really worry about the fact that, you know, this is still Liverpool, it's still us, and we can massively, I don't know, I think if a PSG decides to be a bit more ruthless and say they really want one of these players, they can go in and get one of these players. So really what we have to do, we have to act quick. And Liverpool have never been a team to rush. So even though it's looking good right now, it doesn't mean the deal is going to get finalised. But for sure, personal terms agreed. The advance talks are looking good. The only thing is agreeing a fee. Kone and Thuram, the French connection. I want to call them the French gangsters. The French gangsters going in and out of the Liverpool team. I really do believe that they can create something good at Liverpool as well. The more I watch, the more I see. I believe there's promise there. Tekis Dave says, James Redmond, how are we, lad? I'm marvellous, brother. I'm marvellous. But chat, let me know, do you think that we're going to get both of them over the line, or do you think it might just be one over the line? Because I do think that's an interesting topic of conversation when it comes to both players. They're not that much either, chat. This is the thing. They're young. They've got potential, but also they're on low. They're not going to be asking for extortionate wages. I highly doubt it's going to be a Naby Keita situation where he joins and automatically gets 100 plus K a week. And then the same with Oxlade-Chamberlain. You know, there's nobody truly established coming into the team. So from a price standpoint, it's good. And also from everything else, wages, value for money in general, it's a good move. Josh Moore says, do you think these 35 to 50 million type players are the way to go? If you look at the top of the list of players that went for around 100 million, a huge amount of them have underwhelmed, to say the least. I do believe that's also because of the expectation that is attached with a £100 million price tag. I do think it's much easier to fulfill. So, for instance, who can I say? I'm really trying to think. So, Naby Keita was 60 mil, Oxlade was 40 mil. I think if Oxlade was 60 mil, we'd have a much different perception on Oxlade-Chamberlain and his time at Liverpool. We'd all still admit that he was good at the start, but then we will also admit he didn't fulfill 60 million. I think we would also admit that he hasn't even fulfilled a price tag of 40 million just with how often he was injured. So yes, I agree. I think the 30 to 50 million pound players are the safest option in terms of what people will say, whether it's a flop or not, because now you haven't got the price determining the factor. Like blimmin' hell, Mudrik's been in the Premier League for 5 months and people aren't giving him a chance. Why? Because he's got a big price tag attached. I don't think it's fair. I also don't think it's the most accurate way to assess players. I do think you need to give them time. I think Jack Grealish is a prime example. Also, in an era where we're heavily number driven, I don't think stars quite get given the same credit as they used to. I saw people the other day saying, like, there was a post about Gavi from Barcelona, and he's made 100 appearances for Barcelona, which is wild. And people are saying in the chat, oh, but he's only got 5 goals in 100 games. How much did Xavi have in his first 100 games and how much did Iniesta? Because I know they weren't super goal scoring midfielders. They might have had more than 5, but it couldn't have been much more. All I'm saying is that there's been great midfielders who weren't good from a young age. There's just big impatience, and price tag can massively add to that impatience. So, yeah, I think 35 to 50 mil players are just the best, because the type of club that we are, if we go out and spend 60, 70 million on an individual, it makes no sense financially, because if it doesn't go right, we can't replace them. And that's why we were stuck with Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita for years on end and just felt like we were in a death trap. Are we getting both, lads? Klopp said he wants transfers done early, and first pre-season match is in 30 days. I think we finish our entire transfer market by the end of the month. I mean, I do think it's fine to want to have your deals done by the end or by the start of pre-season. It makes a lot of sense. It gets the players gelling in together. But if one of your targets just so happens to be the day after the first pre-season game or at the end of the transfer window, be ruthless, stay persistent. Don't worry too much about the people put too much into the pre-season thing. Like you're gonna have your pre-season after 4 games anyway. And knowing in England, you're playing 4 games in the space of 7 to 8 days. So if you're gonna be playing 4 games into 7 to 8 days, really you don't need a pre-season, because technically you're getting a more competitive pre-season by playing in the actual competition. So I hope Jurgen Klopp would still be open to transfers after the first pre-season game, because then what you're doing, you're just giving yourself a much more limited time to get these deals done. If you're giving yourself a cap, use the cap that you've got and that you've been given by the people who set up the transfer window, which is, 31st of September or 30th of September? I don't know. But use that. Don't be setting your own boundaries to where you're making time shorter for yourself. You're just making it more difficult. So I wouldn't agree with that sentiment, no. Hi, James, mate. Would you go for Chiesa? Well, that's actually one of the topics on the agenda tonight. I was actually going to mention Chiesa specifically because I've seen that we've been linked to Chiesa quite a bit. We can delve in and out of the Kone and Thuram and all these topics. I'd take Chiesa. I've always been a fan of Chiesa, and apparently he wouldn't be much. Apparently it'd be, again, another player that would be around £40 million. If we got Chiesa for 40, Thuram, so Thuram, Kone and McAllister combined would be 110 million. Plus Chiesa for 40, that'd be £150 million on Thuram, Kone, McAllister a World Cup winner, and then Chiesa a Euros winner. And we know what Chiesa is. He's a bad man. He's a bad mother effer. So that's why I would like Chiesa. I don't know his injury situation, but I know he's quick. I know he's the type of player that we look for. And Salah isn't getting any younger. And I would not hate the idea of somebody like Salah having competition this season, because then you're getting the goals off Salah off the bench or when he starts, and then you're getting this newborn and bred winger in Chiesa, who's still young, point to prove, and he has a year to develop before Salah leaves, or, depending on what happens to Salah in a year's time. I know that he's only got a year left on his contract. Chat, would you take Chiesa? And don't call him me twin, because he's not. He's a much better looking kid. Hello to everyone. Hit that like button. Great reminder, to be honest. Great reminder. Do smash the likes as well. You are talking sense. It makes a lot of sense because if you want to be big Liverpool, okay, we've now accepted that we can't spend big bucks, but we have accepted that we can get 40 to 50 million pound players quite comfortably. If Chiesa is in that price region, because again, I've only seen a couple of reports, so I can't say it definitively, this is how much Chiesa is going to be. But if he is the price that's suggested in these reports, which is around 40 million, I don't understand why you don't jump on that transfer. Pronto! Have you seen McAllister's injury record? He's missed one match in 4 seasons for Brighton. Absolutely. Wait, what? He hasn't played for Brighton for 4 seasons? Do you mean his time in Argentina as well? Has he played for Brighton for 4 seasons? It's a long time. I didn't realise he had that long in the Premier League. Fair play. And 1 game missed. Very nice. Chiesa requires a 30 million bid according to Team Talk. Okay, so I don't know how reliable Team Talk on. I appreciate the reference there, Esther. Yeah, in terms of the 30 million bid, if that's what we need to start the process, then that means it probably will be, give or take, 5-10 million, on top of that. So yeah, about 40 million for Chiesa if these reports are true, and I'd love that transfer. It just adds to the squad depth, and I really do believe that it'd be good. Barella is injury prone, best avoided. So, here's the thing about Barella, or Barella, however you pronounce his name. I believe he's a great player, and he would be the best, and by far the best option that we could get. If you're talking about class right here, right now type stuff, Barella is your type player. If you want certainty, Barella is your type of player. If you want... That is the closest thing that we could get to a Kimmich. Like, genuinely, that's what Barella is. You know I'm a big fan of Kimmich. I'm also a huge fan of Barella. I just don't think that's a realistic signing. I look at that like an unrealistic signing the same way I look at Kimmich like an unrealistic signing. But if you're saying to me, and I didn't know this, but if you're saying to me he's also injury prone, then stay far away, because when you get rid of a 37-year-old James Milner, Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain, you don't want to be bringing in midfielders who can't play games. So best injury records possible, please. James, have you sung Sean in Scouts? No, I haven't. I'll be honest. I don't know the song, Sean, but I'm sure it's a belter tune. Did United sign players yet? From what I am aware, Manchester United haven't signed anyone. Thank goodness. Liverpool are being active. I really hope that fit. Chat, is that true what Jurgen Klopp said before? About, like, we only want to do 30 days where we sign players, and then after the first pre-season game, we're going to sign nobody else. Did he actually say that? Because if so, there is some things Jurgen Klopp says where I think, like, I love you, I do, I love you the whole world and back again, and if you've got beef, on Stanley Road or in the main streets of Kirkdale, I'm going to back Jurgen, I just will. But some of the things that he says is just a little bit, it's just one of those, why are you giving yourself a time limit? Just because of pre-season games? I don't know why, but we'll see if that is it. It's not the fees, it's about wage packages, for example. If it wasn't the fee that put LFC off Bellingham, it was the wages LFC could not match. Exactly. So Liverpool just didn't have the resources to acquire Bellingham. Do you think we need a centre-back this summer? Not sure. Matt will stay fit. Matt? Who's Matt? Are you on about the guy from Wolfsburg? Actually, I think I'm onto your drift. Will stay fit, and Gomez is being rubbish. 100% we need a new centre-back, because... Do you mean Nat, actually? I think you meant Nat Phillips, didn't you? So Nat Phillips, I don't know how he's still at the club, but if he hasn't been sold, then I'll be awfully surprised. He's also not good enough to be the first-team centre-back. The second you identify someone not good enough to be the first-team centre-back, you probably need to let them go, because then you're just paying them wages to possibly need them instead of getting the person who's going to add competition. Nat Phillips, he's kind of a, what Phil Jones was at United. We'll use you if you need it, but really, like, as much, and I'm not saying ability, we all know Nathaniel Dini Van Phillips is clear to Phil Jones. I'm just saying from a standpoint of, if you're not needed, then you actually are a waste of wages. Whereas if you are that guy from Wolfsburg, can't remember his name evades me, but if you bring him in, then he might be a bench option for now, but he's also someone who can push for the first team. Do you really see Nat Phillips ever pushing to be a first team Liverpool centre-back? No. So yeah, we do need new centre-backs, and it's actually really urgent, and all the midfielder talk is actually clouded what is a very needed position to sort out. And don't forget, a right-back, I would still suggest is strongly needed, and I would not hate the idea of a forward. And I don't think I'm being stingy. I think the owners have been stingy in recent windows. I don't think I'm being stingy asking for that as well. If Casado is reported 70 million, would you sacrifice an extra midfielder or centre-half for Casado? No, not me personally. I'd rather get both Thuram and Kone. Better chances. You're paying pretty much the same money for them two combined than what you would be for Casado. I mean, wages, yeah, that'd be different because you're paying two players' wages opposed to one. Centre back as well. But yes, I don't want Liverpool going out and spending 70 million on players. If it doesn't align with the the financial targets, don't put the club in a position where it could mess us up in future transfer windows. Just if Casado comes in and then becomes a Naby Keita 2.0, we will not be able to replace Casado for a long time. If Kone comes in for 45 million or whatever and becomes a Naby Keita 2.0, it's a lot more realistic and achievable to replace him. So that's not as strong of an investment. I'd be really intrigued to know what the chat says about this as well. But do smash a like, people. This is not whiskey. This is apple juice in a whiskey glass. So I feel like they're the vibes that we're setting tonight. We've got 230 people in the stream. Big up your damn selves. With our transfer strategy, after getting 3 midfielders, 1 centre back and a full back, we need to buy another 3 potential players for the future start, scouting talent to loan them out. Yeah, true. You've always got to stay on top of the young teams and the youth academies and stuff like this. That's massive. Do you think Ramsey had a breakout season similar to Robertson when Moreno went down? Are you on about when Robertson came in and didn't play straight away? Not even close. Not even close, because Moreno got injured, as you mentioned, and then, of course, Robertson took the role. Whereas this season, Trent had an injury and Calvin Ramsey was never able to take the right-back position. Now, also, to be fair, Calvin Ramsey was injured quite a lot this season. So he actually might have been injured a similar time to when Trent was. But I don't even think Calvin Ramsey's ahead of Joe Gomez in the right-back pecking order. I really don't. And I also don't think I think if we loan anybody out, you loan out a Calvin Ramsey. You get him out on loan back to Aberdeen and let him have a belt there, or a Rangers or something like that. Maybe even to the Championship, but I think Conor Bradley is ahead of the pecking order than Calvin Ramsey, to be honest. Conor Bradley literally played so many minutes last season, so in terms of fitness, he's looking good, and in terms of goals, he scored many goals for Bolton. He got the player of the season. When you talk about a young player with confidence and momentum, Conor Bradley is your guy. So I'm pretty certain we're not going to get a right-back as well, chat. Don't be expecting a right-back. When I say I want a right-back, it's pure optimism. We're not getting one. I'm not too sure on Kone. I think he's worse than Curtis Jones. However, Thuram looks unreal. You say worse than Curtis Jones, like Jones is really bad at football. I think Curtis Jones is a fine footballer. But that's why I actually like the idea. If Kone comes in and then him and Jones compete for the position, surely it's only going to bring the best out of both of them. And if the best isn't good enough, we'll know that. But then at least we've got competition and we're not just relying on one player. Don't forget, we've still got Thiago there as well. So if Thiago's fit, then how often does he play? O'Brien Dennis says, should we be greedy this summer and bring in 4 midfielders, knowing Hendo has 2 years left? I mean, it's not necessary to do that, but yes, it could be good. But then I think you buy 3 and you wait till next year and wait for more midfielders to hit the market. If you want to buy that 4th one, do that next year instead of now. Don't need to buy them all in one and do a huge spending spree. I'd rather get 3 midfielders, a centre-back and a right-back. In his contract, I think him and Thiago is his final year. That is true. Maybe Viega or Enzo Lafay as the 4th midfielder. I like that Viega shout. I'm not too sure. I heard something about him going to Real Madrid. No, chat. Is that true? I'm not sure. But how about Van den Ven? I haven't watched them, so I couldn't tell you much about him, to be honest. But please do let me know what you all think of the player. Just jumped and joined. What have you spoken about so far? Great question. So we mentioned about Thuram and Kone. We've mentioned about how the talks are looking good. The personal terms have been agreed. And now it's just about the club sorting it out. And then we mentioned about Liverpool potentially needing an attacker. From there, we've kind of just dabbled around what's the priority position that we need to purchase. Is it a centre-back? Is it a right-back? Is it a forward? You know, because we know that the midfield was an issue. But then now everyone's saying we need a full-back, a centre-back and a forward. What's the priority out of those? So the midfield sorted, or at least if we get Thuram and Kone, it's sorted. What's then the next biggest priority? And I think we're coming to a conclusion that it's the centre-back position. And then somebody just asked about the centre-back from Wolfsburg, Van den Ven, or something like that. Do you think it's time for Klopp to choose a new captain? Oh, wait there, let me get. In fact, you know what? This one's about Van den Ven. Let me get. Why do we need a centre-back if they are going to be a backup? Why don't you get someone from the academy, such as Van der Berg, who was great out on loan last season? He's a good backup. One, I've heard that Van der Berg got injured last season, no? And if he didn't, and if he did have a good season, because he was at Schalke, and didn't Schalke get relegated? So if that all remains to be true, from what I know, it didn't sound like he had a great season. But if he did have a really good season, then yeah, I suppose you could maybe use him. But why isn't he? Why isn't he in the team yet? Why isn't he? Why isn't he showing anything in training that suggests to the manager we could do with you? Because it's not like that he's been competing with world beaters of centre backs. Matip's always injured, Gomez is always injured, and then the guy who was the next guy in the team was Nat Phillips. So why weren't Sepp van der Berg better than Nat Phillips or held in higher regards? Was it just because the team saw more benefit in giving him more game time, or was it because he needed to improve? And has he improved to the level that we need him to be a backup centre-back? Because it's not just like we get injured centre-backs quite often, so we need that backup to be solid. So I don't know if I'm willing to trust Sepp van der Berg, yeah. But you've got to give him the chance to do so. Thank you, DG, for the super chat. He says, McAllister wins a lot of free kicks in the middle. He does. He gets fouled a hell of a lot. A really nice player. Which we don't do enough of. Could add a lot more goals to our team. From that alone. Yeah, one thing that assists don't tell you, like Jack Grealish when he gets fouled all the time, and then Kevin De Bruyne takes the free kick and friggin' slots it. That doesn't go down as an assist, but yes, McAllister will bring that element of winning us back the ball from a stand, or even disrupting the momentum because of how often he's going to get fouled. The only thing that makes me fearful is that he is a technical player. He's going to be in a team that dominates possession in the majority of games. And he's in the Premier League. What does that mean in terms of injuries? The players just kick the shit out of him. Because when you play Brighton, nobody gets angry at Brighton. But when you play Liverpool, you get pissed off at Liverpool. People hate the fans. They hate the atmosphere because it gets to them. So therefore, they really want to make a statement. You've seen it when Jacob Ramsey scored against, for Aston Villa against us. He just went right in front of the cop ends and done that. People want to make a point when they play in front of the Anfield faithful. It's a very standard procedure. So. Yeah, but thank you for the super chat, my friend. I'm loving these comments, guys. Please do keep banging them in because I do like it when we're getting a nice flow of the show going. People are smashing the likes. The show's going up. Yous are asking questions. We're interacting. And we're delving through the squad situation. We need a right back, right wing, and 2 additional midfielders. Yeah, man. Matip does need to go. You're right there, by the way. What happens to the Ndika rumours? Don't like his injury record. For 1. 2, I don't think there was any concrete interest. 3, he might have wanted high wages. So I'm not too sure what happened with those wages, to be fair. We are going to touch on Manchester City and Manchester United before the end of the stream. If you do mind helping me out, chat, because I know that we're in the midst of the transfers. Does anybody whatsoever have any updates on the ownership situation at Manchester United? Has there been any bids? And also, do you know when the deadline is? Because everyone's talking about how we are the busy people of the transfer window, and you are right, we are the busy people of the transfer window. The only thing that I question is, if Manchester United get new owners, what does that then mean for the future of us? So I'm actually keeping one eye out on them getting owners. I don't believe it's going to happen. But if it does, what does that mean? And when is the deadline, if any of you know, pretty much? What do you make of Pavard at Liverpool? I don't think he's going to join. I don't think we're going to sign a centre-back. I'll be dead honest. I don't think we're going... a right-back. I don't think we're going to sign a right-back. I think we're very happy with Conor Bradley, and I don't think that we're going to exercise Trent in midfield. I think it's going to remain as a right-back. The Qatar guy put in a final bid, take it or leave it. Okay, and is that being finalised right now for Manchester United? That is so interesting. Because people... this is being talked about as well. But the absolute shithousery of Glazers turned down this bid. Like, you don't want to... This is bigger than just football. Like, this is actually a huge statement that is being made if Glazers decide to turn it down and then go with Radcliffe. Like, this is a royal family that you're fucking with. In fact, it's not the royal family, but it's like a big deal in Qatar. And if you're telling me that you can just turn down the biggest bids that they can put on the table, it really is a bragging rights thing. Someone actually, Saeed mentioned the other day, like, what if they piss the Glazers off? What if the Glazers piss off the Qatari people so much that they just go and buy Liverpool and just turn us into the next Man City? Absolutely glorious scenes. The shithousery. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've kind of sort of resigned to banging on about Qatari owners, to be fair. I just don't think it'll happen for us. James, I missed your thoughts on Jude. Are you sad he's not going to Liverpool? I was actually always very questionable over buying Jude and Jude alone. It always had to be Jude and a couple of other players. Like, for instance, McAllister by himself is an okay signing. Not because he's an okay player, he's an excellent player, but by himself he's an okay signing. But with Thuram and Kone, he's an excellent signing because now you've complemented what is a really good player with good midfielders. You know, you can get a good midfielder all you want. If you put Messi in Accrington Stanley, he's not going to win them the Champions League. It's just fact. But, for instance, there was another... If you put Jude in our midfield, yeah, you can do him, you can do Trent, and that's a good thing. I don't think it was needed of 100 million. I feel like that had a big... I think it would have delayed the process of us getting trophies sooner. I think we would have needed to build a team around Bellingham, and the money that we spent on Bellingham would have hindered the improvement we could have made in other areas of the team. So yeah, I don't think that one. Qatar are frustrated with the Glazers, hence the last bid, take it or leave it. Yeah, but these Glazers are ruthless motherfuckers. They don't care either. They really don't. They're probably happy to get Radcliffe at the club, still remain partial owners, and then just continue to make the revenue that way. And Manchester United fans will eat it up because, listen, you can do all the protests that you want in the world. All it takes is a couple of good transfers. All it takes is a new manager, a new process. Let's not be too negative while we've got a new manager, this, that and the other. And that's what Manchester United have been for the best part of 10 years. And they've had problems with the Glazers for ages. I've never seen a club have such a problem with the owners and not being able to get them out. And it's because they go from good to bad. So sometimes they really hate them when things are going wrong, and then they really, really like them when they sign Varane, Ronaldo and Casemiro. And it's fine because people really like that. And to the true Manchester United fans, they don't accept it. But to the Manchester United fans, the casuals, the people who just watch from all over the world and tune into the game, it's not bad to be a casual. I'm just saying you're not going to care about it as much. You will appreciate the big, massive, flashy, colourful, transfer-breaking news photos that you see of Varane and Casemiro. And they've took the piss. So now if they're going to continue to take the piss and this Qatari bid doesn't go through, I am going to laugh my fucking ass off at United fans. Because when it was confirmed, I've just spilled some of my apple juice. When it was confirmed, we was not going to get Qatari ownership, at least for now, they laughed in our faces. And they have gone louder than us. So if they've gone louder than us, then that's another thing that we need to have a go at them for. First, they started with this, we've had a much, much better season than you bollocks. And then now, the chat and other things. Shout out to Jackman. My G, thoughts on Bajcetic's new role? Bajcetic's role in new look midfield. Yeah, listen, Bajcetic, he switches between that number 6 and number 8 position. I'm a huge fan. His technical ability looks insane. And I do believe that he can be a good player for Liverpool. I do, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. I hope the Glazers stay at Man United forever. That's the same. Not even going to lie to you, mate. Fabinho, Mach and Kep on the bench. Manu and Curtis, whoever else in it. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. And I do think Curtis and Manu is a stronger combination than Ox and Naby. Not what Ox and Naby could have been. What they could have been insane. But in terms of like the right here, right now type stuff, Curtis Jones and Manu Kone is a much better bench, or whether it's Curtis Jones and Thuram or whoever you want. We've mentioned this already, the thoughts on the Keita rumours. I don't think, but we never touched on the specific legitimacy of the rumours. Potentially cashing in Salah, that's what I said. Soon PSG will look for him to replace Messi. Right, so let's unpackage that. Salah is not going to PSG. I believe he will go to the Saudi League before he goes to PSG. But I do believe you could get Keita in with Salah for this season and then let them grow next to each other because Keita's young, Salah's older. And then I don't think the rumours are true about Keita. He seems one of those players who, these Italians, they like to stay in Italy. I believe Keita is one of those players, a European champion in an Italian side. I believe he'll stay in Italy. It's very rare to see top-class players from that league come out. We all complain about FSG. Right, let me read that again. We all complain about FSG, but I don't see anyone protesting about it, and it's great. And a bad thing about Liverpool fan, you only hear us complain when things get really bad, such as the Super League. I've been saying this. Here's the thing, right? So when I was going through my phase of constantly talking about FSG and going on a rampage, and I had a real agenda against FSG, and some of it warranted, and I think sometimes even I took it too far. But now I'm at a balanced point in life, because if I show my distaste towards FSG and some of the things that they do constantly in videos through being angry and FSG this, FSG that, you're not going to listen to me. So me as a content creator, I've now got to use the slow approach of basically planting the seeds of this is what's happened, this is what happens, and it's likely going to continue to happen based on pattern. And I've been doing that for 2 years. I said it the other day, last summer a year ago, when I mentioned the idea of finishing outside of top 4, people would laugh at me and they say you're dead negative. A year later, people have accepted it because of the Firmino, Milner, and all these retirements, and then all these signings, and Klopp hasn't won the Europa League. There's a narrative that can be spun. Therefore, I believe that with these narratives being spun, it lowers the expectations without you even realising it. That's why I like to say it, so then when it happens again in future, you're like, whoa, yeah, you're right, a year ago I wouldn't have liked Europa League, and that would have been a nightmare of a dream. When you were sending tweets to United fans about being in Europa League, and now we're saying that we like the Europa League songs. Did you see that as well, chat? All these content creators who were saying they like the Europa League tune, as if to solidify that it's okay that we're in the Europa League. I'm fuming because the expectations get lowered and lowered, and here's what's happening. I'm getting fuming because it's these owners. They do it to the collective fan base, and then I've got to sit there because I'm Liverpool, whether we're in the Premier League or Football League 2, mate. I am. It doesn't matter. I don't care about success. If we're in the fucking Conference League, I will still watch. I'm not talking about European. I'm talking about 5th division of English football, semi-pro. If we were there, I'd still go to Anfield or friggin' one of the local parks if that's where we had to play. I just don't care. But it still doesn't mean that I'm not going to like it when I'm seeing these very same fans who were raised with the expectations and standards of Bob Paisley, Bill Shankly, and now we're just accepting Europa League. Pissing me off. Shout out to lad and dad detectorists. What about that little Ben Doak? Loan him or keep him. Also, Henderson might have to play less time if we get these other midfielders. So do we pick a new captain? Trent as vice? First question, should Ben Doak loan or keep? So I think we should keep Ben Doak. A loan would be beneficial. In fact, loan Ben Doak out, because I think that'd be very beneficial. I'd loan him out. Should Henderson play less time? Do we pick a new captain? So wait there, chat. Who's the new vice captain now? Because I know Henderson was the captain, and then obviously James Milner was the vice captain. Who's the new vice captain? Is it Virgil van Dijk? I have reason to believe it's Virgil van Dijk, because funnily, is it Alisson? Is Alisson the captain? Is Alisson the captain? I don't hate the idea. I'm just saying, are you sure he's the captain? I actually really like the idea of Alisson being captain. People are saying Virgil. I'm not going to lie, chat. I'm not down on this Virgil as captain thing. He's a great player, great leader. He's not Alisson. He's a great player, great leader. He's not Alisson. Do you know, I heard a story that it was Alisson who turned Bobby Firmino into a Christian. Like I know this is something completely different. But I'm just saying, so as somebody who goes to church, I understand that people who, teach people about the faith and teach people about the Bible, they're very knowledgeable people of high wisdom, people of sins, true, strong leadership. So I'm just giving you an insight to the type of character that Alisson is. That's the type of lifestyle that he lives. And you see him screaming on the pitch, organising the defence constantly. And we've had better defensive records with Alisson in goal and Virgil out of the defence than vice versa. If Alisson's being out of that net, we're fucked. We're fucked. And I love the Irish Season Kelleher, but he couldn't play 38 games a season to the standard of Alisson. He just couldn't. So I'm not going to lie. From the captaincy point of view, I'm happy to make Alisson my vice captain. I am buzzing to do that. He's my favourite Liverpool player at the moment and has been for the best part of 12 months. So I'm more than happy to give him a captaincy armband. And if Henderson's not playing, then he wears the armband. I'm okay with that. I don't really think you have to be an outfield player to wear an armband. You can still be a leader without an armband, is the point that I'm saying. But if you want to give it to Virgil and you think that's the most beneficial thing, then fine. But I just think Virgil in the past year, he's just shown an awful lot of complacency. It's like he's really angry at the fact that he can't quite do what he once did. and therefore he takes it out on either himself or other players. And I think that emotion is just quite a dangerous trait for a captain to have. I think it's very easy to let the young players drop their heads when they see the captain just being a bit too emotive, let's say. I want a smart captain, and Alisson's a man with calm, unique composure. And I do think he'd be able to say the right things in the right moments to the young players who'd need it. Trent needs to be captain. No, he doesn't. He doesn't need to be captain. Okay, for the storyline, yes, it's nice if Trent is captain. He does not need to be captain, especially if he has not got the captain attributes. If he's not got the captain attributes, he definitely does not need to be captain. And from what I've seen, he seems a little bit quiet. He seems a little bit more shy. I don't think we need to push him into a captain. I'm very okay with Trent just being a world-class player. He doesn't need to be a world-class player and a captain. If he's good enough to be a captain, then let's make him a captain. But just because he's Trent Alexander-Arnold does not mean we should just make him a captain. If he's got no leadership qualities, which I'll be honest, I haven't saw. I see him drop his head defensively, and I see his attitude change. I don't like his body language when he misses certain tackles. I'm going to be honest with you, chat. I do not like the idea of right now, not never, just right now, I do not like the idea of Trent being the vice captain at all. Not even one bit. Just because he's a Scouser makes no sense. Makes no sense to me. Yeah, I agree. I don't see Trent as a leader, and it's not a bad thing. You know, there's only certain people who are supposed to be leaders, and then there's certain people who are great at taking instructions. And I think Trent is the latter. There is something special about Alisson. He really is a beautiful person. Honestly, he's a man of God. He's a man of God, a man of Christ. Mo Salah deserves it. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Why? Because he scores goals. No, he doesn't. Because again, I don't see Salah being very vocal. I don't see him being a super leader. Yes, he's a leader by example. But he doesn't deserve it just because he's Mo Salah. The same way Trent doesn't deserve it just because he's Scouse. The same way Virgil doesn't deserve it because I don't think he's shown many leadership traits over recent times. Who has shown leadership traits? Alisson. He's the one player who never drops his head. He's the one player who keeps the team in every single game. You look at him and you go, wow, he's doing his job. I'm not doing my job. Sets the bar through performance. Isn't Salah the captain of Egypt? Kind of got to be by default. No offence to Egypt. Don't know who else they've got. El Neni. Come on. He was a captain, though. The whole youth, the reason he drops his head is because he's not a defender and never was pushed to be a defender in the first time. But no. It doesn't matter whether he's a defender or not a defender. It's still, okay, what happens when Trent makes a mistake? Whether it's defensive or offensive, he drops his head. That's bad body language for a leader, and it shows that he can be easily got to. I do not want my captain being easily got to. I love Trent Alexander-Arnold. But don't just blame the fact that you believe that he's being mistreated on his position to why he drops his head. He shouldn't be dropping his head no matter what, is what I'm saying. If you are going to keep the highest standards to identify a leader, if I am in a workplace and I am identifying a team leader, best believe I'm not choosing someone who drops their head if they make a mistake. I'm looking for the person who makes a mistake and then learns from the mistake immediately. That's what I look for. It's fine to be sad, but it's how you control the sadness. It's fine to be angry, but how you control and conduct the anger is what truly matters. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying he shouldn't be a leader. Just a physical example. Trent Alexander-Arnold doing this, hands on hips and, just fucking hell. Made another mistake. That is not good captaincy. Do you hear what I'm saying? So just because he was a captain in the youth academy for 15-year-olds because he was the best player doesn't mean that he should be the captain for the first team competing for Premier Leagues. Not that he's not capable, he's just not ready right now. Alisson vice, Virgil van Dijk as captain. However, I do think we need a leader in midfield. Yeah, I agree. I think a midfield's lacking at the moment. Guys, I'm not trying to shit on Trent. I'm just being honest. Do you see, when he makes a mistake at the back post and he drops his head, do you look at that and think, go on, captain? Go on, captain! Or do you see... Or do you see somebody like Robertson, who, when he makes a mistake, what does he do? He gets stuck right back in there. When someone's got beef on the pitch, who's getting stuck in to defend him? Robertson. But then when you want to talk about a man of composure is a huge trait of any leadership, then you've got Alisson. Usually, I think Virgil van Dijk would be more than fine being a leader. This season, I haven't saw things where I think you could most certainly be our leader. I think he could have been. I don't know if he could be our leader now. So yeah, that in terms of the captaincy situation, then it is what it is. If Ruby sees this about Trent, she's going to be pissed. I love Ruby, and I love Trent. But why can't we... Okay, so is James Redmond good at everything, chat? Yes, but that's besides the point. Not everyone can be James Redmond. Humans are very flawed. That is a joke, by the way, I promise you. I'm shit at loads of things. And the point that I'm leading to is that I might be a good YouTuber, but I'm certainly not a good accountant or mathematician. I'm shite at maths. If my kid comes to me and says, Dad, I need help with maths, sorry, James Jr., you're fucked. You are fucked. Like, God gave you a dumb dad when it comes to numbers. So, unfortunately, you've got to see through this situation yourself, Jimmy Jr. And until you get those results, and you need those results, because if you have the same brain as me when it comes to maths, you're done for. The point that I'm leading to is that I'm not good at everything. The same way that Trent doesn't need to be good at everything. He can be just a world-class footballer. But if making him captain adds unnecessary pressure and therefore makes him make more mistakes, which we've saw, if he makes mistakes, it gets to him, then why would we make him captain just because he's Scouse? It's not a sensible decision. There's no common sense or thought put into that decision whatsoever. All you're doing is playing FIFA and you want to make cool storylines. Storylines are fun if they align. Storylines are fun if they are possible. But unfortunately, there's just certain things in this world. Rey Mysterio will not beat Brock Lesnar. The way it is, he's 5 foot. I'm just simply trying to say there's certain things that aren't achievable, and you don't have to be the most almighty in all areas. Me saying that Trent is not a good leader, it isn't me fuming at Trent calling him shit. Before you fucking click me. You know what I mean, mate? Hammers, can you charm the fur off a llama? Of course I can. Just speak to a llama like this. I'll be like, fucking going on, you little llama. What's your number, son? Gives those digits, mate. You little fucking llama. Gakpo would be a good leader. We need young blood to take the armbands because a captain should be thrown around. I don't know. I don't think you have to be young to be a leader. I think if you are young and you can be a leader, then fine. But yeah, I could see them Dutch people are smart, man. I could see Gakpo being another option in the future. Guys, before we wrap this up, you can ask a few more questions. We'll do about 10 more minutes, I suppose. Who's winning the Champions League tomorrow night? Is it Manchester City or Inter Milan? Don't you think it's a little bit wild the way Manchester City can win a Champions League in Istanbul against the Milan team and that be their first one? I'm not going to lie, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of another English team having an Istanbul moment. I wanted that to myself. I mean, we know it's not going to be as good as our Istanbul moment, but you know what I mean? Like, I mean, they are going to win it. City, yeah, I'm going with City as well. Forza Inter! Forza Inter! Forza Inter! We just need Romelu Lukaku to just go there and absolutely belly bounce them off the park. If Romelu Lukaku goes there and just imposes his will on his big Musellas, then we'll be flying, hopefully. But yeah, I see City being the reigning supreme. And then, they'll be the treble winners as well. Just how do you stop City, man? Even going into next season, just how do you do it? And even the additions that we're making, we need to pray that they can fill the gap because, that's the upper echelon competition. So that's why I'm saying, I'd be fine with just top 4 next season because you don't know how some of these teams are going to improve. It's saying my Wi-Fi's a little bit bummy. Oh, no, it's saying my Wi-Fi's messed up a little bit. Is it back? Chat, is my Wi-Fi good? We're wrapping up soon anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I just want to know that you can still hear me, see me, feel me, look at me. Is that a yay or nay, chat? Can you hear me? Oh, I think it's going buggy. I'll be back. I'm going to keep going. Jeez, Mr. St. Valentine. Alison for Captain PS, love the content. And you say, I love you as well. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Wi-Fi working fine. Brill. It's just because it came... It's not great. Yeah, it was saying it was not great for me. Hopefully it's fine now. And if you can hear fine, that's all that matters. Little comment here from Maxine. Top 4 ain't enough, mate. For a club like Liverpool, we should be challenging. Well, then get new owners and don't be fine when we get Europa League. I know that, Maxine, I know you're not the person who's fine with Europa League, but we need the fan base to see that collectively. It's only the collective noise which makes a difference. If we don't, then it's a problem. City won't fall until Pep is gone. Chat, do you think that Manchester City will fall when Pep leaves, or do you think it's just a case of the infrastructure they've built at that football club is just impossible to surpass. Because that's where I sit there and I think it might just be the club, because they've got a world-class academy. Pep has no influence on that. They have a world-class women's team. Pep has no influence on that. And I believe that these owners are just good enough to identify who the next big guy would be. That's where I sit there and think City could actually be on top for as long as they want, until Newcastle start to be allowed to spend the money that they can. And then if teams like United get new ownership, then maybe you can compete there. But I think for Liverpool, with the owners that we've got to readjust to our expectations for sure. Until something significant happens in terms of investment. Come on, guys, let's just be honest. Because people think it's just the transfers with investments. It's not. It's the youth academy, which we don't have as good. We don't make as much money from our youth academy than what other teams do. Therefore, that needs to be improved over time. Our youth academy doesn't win much. Therefore, that's the premise of what you can use to say ours is not that good. Whereas you'll see Chelsea win quite a bit, Man City wins quite a bit, and they're the teams with money. Manchester United have got a very okay youth academy as well. So we definitely lack them. Everton, I'd suggest, have a better youth academy than us. So from all those standpoints, I believe that we lack, and because of that, that's what I'm talking about. Investment is that it's not just the transfers, it's not just the stadium, it's also the other assets that run a very successful football club, and I just think FSG lack in many of those departments. To be honest with you, chat, I'm not going to lie to you. They will bring in company or Postecoglou. Do you think Postecoglou is going to be that good where he's the Pep replacement? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that'd be a very soon thing. Chat, would you take Postecoglou after Klopp? I mean, I know you need to see more, but just based on what you know right now, I don't know enough about him to answer the question. But if you've got Jake saying this, then he must rate him. They are paying Haaland 70 billion a game. Wouldn't surprise me. I think Man City will fall a bit, but it won't be massive. As soon as the new manager gets his players and his vision across, they'll be back. Yep, I agree. I think the resources and infrastructure will just see that club through. If you had to pick one, Thuram or Kone, I've always said I'll go with Thuram, but I'm now leaning more towards Kone, to be honest. Nope. Yeah, fair dues. Fair dues. Nobody wants him as the manager. Understandable. What if he goes and wins a trophy with Tottenham, chat? Different energy there, chat. Hey. Chat, I think I'm going to end it there, Was that a good stream? I enjoyed that stream. If you did enjoy it yourself, then do smash a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It gets the stream out there. I don't know how many likes we're on. Ideally, it'd be nice that if we had 200, just because we've got 200 viewers. I'm not trying to be unrealistic. I'm setting something possible for the amount of bodies that we've got currently in the stream. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the nightly streams. I continue to and intend to do more. And yeah, keep an eye out tomorrow for more content on the James Redmond TV YouTube channel. I will see you beautiful people. Let me say goodbye to some of you. Esther, goodbye. Dax, goodbye. Jake Finno, goodbye. Kai, goodbye. And James Redmond, sayonara.